So I'm Dr. Louisa Campbell. I'm the Lord Kelvin Adam Smith Research Fellow in Archaeology at the University of Glasgow. So a lot of what we know about the Roman presence in Scotland, and particularly the Antonine Wall, comes from epigraphic evidence, which is another name for inscribed text on stone. In Scotland we are very fortunate that we have what's been described as the best body of evidence from any Roman frontier, and that's particularly the case for the Antonine Wall distance sculptures here at the Hunterian Museum. So this is the Somerson's Farm distance sculpture, and it gives us a great deal of information that is unavailable to us from any other source. So we have, for example, information on the legions who were building the Antonine Wall. They have dedicated this sculpture, as they have done with the other distance sculptures, to the Emperor Antoninus Pius. And it tells us very uniquely the distance that each of the legions who were assigned to build the Roman frontier at the Antonine Wall, how much of the wall and the frontier that each legion built. So for example, the Somerson Farm stone tells us that the second legion built 3,666.5 units of measure, probably paces. So that's a really entirely unique aspect to these particular sculpted pieces of work. It's not available from any other frontier, and it tells us that the legions were almost in competition with each other, I think, insofar as they were very precise about the amount of the frontier that was being built by each of them. And I think a little bit of competition was inherent within that between each of the legions. So we know we have the 2nd, the 6th and the 20th legions who were here building the frontier. The distance stones give us a great deal of information about life on the frontier, and that includes things like the iconography tells us the deities, the gods and goddesses that were being honoured by the legions. For example, on the Somerson Farm we have the goddess Victory, who is giving honours to a Roman cavalryman. He is guarding 2 naked and bound captives here at the base here. This is a post-battle scene where the goddess is honouring this cavalryman for his deeds in battle. The captives are completely naked. Their swords and shields are lying around them in that post-battle phase. They're being guarded by the cavalrymen. And over on the right we have the Aquila, which is the emblem of Rome. The Aquila, the eagle, is sitting on top of the Capricorn, which is the legion, the second legion's emblem. And the second legion are the people who actually dedicated this sculpture. Just below that iconography, again, we have a naked captive. So this tells us a bit about the battles that were being undertaken during the Roman campaign presence here in Scotland. But also it tells us a bit about how they were treating the local people and the way that the iconography was being used to enforce the glory and the might of Rome, but also to perhaps act as a barrier against local people fighting against Rome, because resistance is futile. Now these sculptures we know were brought to life in very vivid colours. My own work undertaking non-destructive scientific analysis on them has telling us that we have colours, and we have reds for bloods, we have red on the letters, we have the goddess Victory in a golden gown trimmed with white lace or some kind of white border, and there's even blood, red blood on the bill of the eagle, which I would suggest is an iconographic means of, symbolically Rome stating Rome is feeding off the blood of its enemies. There's a lot of information in these stones that is unavailable to us, as I say, from any other source. And now what we're doing through the Rediscovering Antonine Wall distance sculptures, we're replicating some of these sculptures, in particular this one, so that we can put it out into the landscape so that people in the wider community are effectively able to access these types of sculptures, create new connections with them, tell new stories, and really it's bringing the museum into the landscape, into an open, available space that people can connect with in the contemporary day. So the replicas that have been created through the Rediscovering the Antonine Wall project have now been placed out into the landscape so that people can engage with them in the contemporary day. And these have been placed, there has been 5 replica distant sculptures placed along the wall very close to the areas where they were originally found.